What if I told you that everything you've been told about learning a new skill is completely wrong? You've heard it 1,000 times. It takes 10,000 hours to master something. 10,000 hours. That's 5 years of full-time work. 5 years before you're good enough. And because of that number, most people never even start. They look at the mountain and they just walk away. But here's what nobody told you. Josh Kaufman, a best-selling business author, went back and read the actual research behind that famous 10,000-hour rule. And what he found changed everything. That rule was never about beginners. It was never about you picking up guitar, or learning to code, or speaking a new language for the first time. It was about reaching world-class expert performance, the top 1% of the 1%. Elite professionals competing at the absolute peak of their field. But you don't want to be the world's best chess player. You want to be good enough to enjoy a game with your friends. You don't want a record deal. You want to play a song at a family gathering without your hands shaking. And for that, according to Josh Kaufman's research, you only need 20 hours. 20 hours. That's 45 minutes a day for 1 month. And in that time, with the right method, you can go from complete beginner to genuinely competent. Good enough to feel proud. Good enough to build from. Today, we're going to break down every key idea from the book The First 20 Hours by Josh Kaufman. By the end of this video, you will have a complete system, not just theory, but a step-by-step method you can apply to any skill starting today. Let's get into it. Before we talk about how to learn fast, we need to talk about why most people fail before they even begin. Kaufman introduces a concept he calls the frustration barrier. When you first start learning anything, you're terrible at it. And that feeling of being terrible is deeply uncomfortable. It feels embarrassing. It feels hopeless. Your brain, which is wired to protect you from discomfort, starts sending you very convincing messages. Maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you're just not talented. Maybe now isn't the right time. And most people listen to those messages. They quit in the first 2 or 3 hours, right in the middle of the steepest part of the learning curve. But here's what Kaufman discovered when he mapped out how skill development actually works. The curve is not linear. The biggest gains come the fastest. The first 20 hours of practice produce more noticeable improvement than the next 100 hours combined. You go from 0 to functional faster than your brain expects. But only if you push through that initial wall of frustration. The whole game, then, is engineering your first 20 hours correctly, so that frustration never gets the chance to stop you. Kaufman gives us a precise 4-step system to do exactly that. Do them in order every single time for any skill you want to learn. Step 1 is to deconstruct the skill. Most skills that feel enormous are actually bundles of smaller sub-skills. Playing guitar is not one skill. It's chord transitions, strumming patterns, finger placement, timing, and reading chord charts. Speaking French is not one skill. It's pronunciation, vocabulary, sentence structure, and listening comprehension. Your job in step 1 is to break the skill apart and ask yourself, which specific sub-skills will get me to the result I actually want? The fastest. You are not trying to learn everything. You are identifying the 20% of sub-skills that produce 80% of the result. If you want to play a few songs on guitar, you need maybe 4 chords. That's it. Thousands of popular songs are built on 4 chords. You don't need music theory or solos to get there. Deconstruct, then prioritize ruthlessly. Step 2 is to learn enough to self-correct. This is counterintuitive, so pay close attention. Kaufman does not say research everything before you begin. He does not say watch every tutorial, read every book, or finish every course first. He says learn just enough to recognize when you're making a mistake. 3 to 5 good resources maximum. Skim them. Extract the core ideas. Identify the most common beginner errors. And then stop researching and start practicing. Why? Because over-researching is one of the most effective forms of procrastination ever invented. It feels productive. You feel like you're moving forward. But you're not building the skill. You're hiding from the discomfort of actually doing it. Kaufman warns against this specifically. He calls it pre-learning, and it is a trap. Step 3 is to remove every barrier to practice. This is the most underrated step in the entire system. Your environment will make or break your progress before your willpower ever gets involved. Think about the last time you tried to build a new habit. What happened? Life got busy. The guitar ended up in its case in the closet. The textbook was on a different floor. The resistance was just high enough that your brain chose the easier path. Kaufman's solution is simple. Eliminate every piece of friction between you and the practice. Put the guitar on a stand in the living room, not locked in a case. Open your language app every morning before you open anything else. Set up your workspace the night before. Place your running shoes by the door. The goal is to make practicing the path of least resistance. Because when you're tired or distracted, you will always take the easier road. So design your environment so that road leads directly to practice. Step 4 is to practice for at least 20 hours. This sounds obvious, but Kaufman makes a specific commitment here. You must pre-commit to 20 hours before you begin, not "I'll try it and see." 20 hours, full stop. Why the pre-commitment? Because without it, you will quit in hour 3, right in the middle of the frustration barrier. The pre-commitment is not about the hours themselves. It's about giving yourself psychological permission to be bad while you're still learning. When you commit to 20 hours up front, the early struggles stop feeling like failure. They feel like exactly what they are, the beginning of the process. If you're getting value from this video, do me one favor right now. Hit the like button and subscribe. I break down the most important books like this every single week, so you get the core ideas without wasting hours. Now, back to it. Beyond the 4 steps, Kaufman lays out a set of underlying principles that make the whole system work. Let me walk you through the most powerful ones. Choose a skill you actually want to learn, not one you think you should learn. Motivation is not a limitless resource. When the novelty wears off around hour 5, the only thing that will carry you forward is genuine interest. If you're learning something out of obligation, you will quit. Focus on one skill at a time. Every skill you add to your plate splits your attention and slows your progress. The fastest path to competency is one skill, one focus, until you reach your 20-hour target. Then move on. Define what good enough looks like before you start. This is one of the most powerful ideas in the entire book. Not, "I want to learn piano," but "I want to play 3 specific songs smoothly from start to finish." A concrete target gives you a finish line. Without a finish line, the skill feels endless and impossible. Use short daily sessions rather than long weekly ones. 45 minutes a day, 5 days a week beats a 5-hour session on Saturday every single time. The brain consolidates learning during rest. Give it time to do that. Create fast feedback loops. The faster you can tell whether you're doing something right or wrong, the faster you improve. If you don't have a coach, record yourself. Watch the playback. Compare yourself to the model you're aiming for. What you see will surprise you, and that surprise is exactly where improvement begins. What makes this book different from most frameworks is that Kaufman doesn't just theorize. He runs the experiments on himself. He attempts 6 different skills using nothing but his own 4-step method: yoga, programming, touch typing on an unusual keyboard layout, playing the ukulele, windsurfing, and the ancient strategy game, Go. These are wildly different domains: physical, intellectual, creative, technical. And in every case, he documents exactly where he started, how he structured his 20 hours, where frustration hit, and what competency looked like at the end. One of the most powerful techniques he used across multiple skills was deliberately seeking out situations where his weaknesses were exposed. Not to feel bad, but to target his practice precisely where it would have the highest impact. Don't practice what you're already comfortable with. Practice the gaps. That is where real progress lives. Let's bring everything together. JoshKaufman's core argument is this: the biggest barrier to learning any new skill is not ability, not time, and not talent. It is the emotional discomfort of being a beginner. And most of that discomfort is packed into the first few hours. His method is designed specifically to carry you through that discomfort to the other side, where competence lives. The mindset shift this book asks you to make is simple but profound. Stop thinking about mastery and start thinking about function. Can you do the thing well enough to enjoy it? To use it? To build from it? That is achievable. And it is achievable much faster than you think. 20 hours. Less than one focused month. One skill at a time. That is the formula. So here is your challenge before you close this video. Write down in the comments one skill you have been putting off. One skill you've told yourself you don't have time for or aren't talented enough for. Write it down right now. Make it real. And then ask yourself, what would 20 focused hours actually look like for that skill? What would you deconstruct? What does good enough mean to you? What barrier would you remove first? If you want more breakdowns like this, books that actually change how you think, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. And if you have a book you want me to cover, drop it in the comments. I read every single one. See you in the next video.